It's always awesome to have you join us on Politics Today, and we look at issues concerning the polity, how to deepen the democratic values in order to for the citizenry to benefit from it. My name is Philip Omo Gyukbon. I'm the host on today's edition of Politics Today that comes live simultaneously on independent television and radio. As you know, we always urge you to be civil in your presentation, because in the course or progress of the show, we will be reeling out a number for you to participate on with us. And discussing today, I have distinguished personalities to look at the issues about the state of the nation, as we look at the deadline attributed to the CBN release on the old Naira notes. And also we look at petrol scarcity that is really biting hard on everyone. You agree with me? Everyone is in this challenge of how to get it right, and a lot is expected from the government of Nigeria under President Muhammadu Buhari, and that also signals a lot expected by Nigerians from the party candidates that are being churned out as presidential candidates gunning for the presidential race come February 25. And issues like this about the economy, about stabilizing the economy, of course, looking at petrol scarcity, how we can put it behind us forever, is also a burning issue that we need to put on the crucible and hit it a little bit and see how the presidential candidates will pan out in that logical direction to see how capable they are in terms of resolving this. Basically, we're going to be looking at issues in that respect as it pertains to the presidential election coming closely. Discussing this with me in the studio, I have an articulate, vibrant legal practitioner, also a reverend, in the person of Greg Iyayi. Thanks for coming, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, viewers.
And next to Greg Iyayi is a human rights activist, a political activist, and not wrong to say he's a politician. Collins Osagai Amadine. Thanks for joining me, Collins.
Philip, good morning. Good morning, viewers.
All right, I was still expecting Bishop Austin Igbasan, a public affairs analyst, to also dissect and analyze this issue with us. But again, straight from Abuja, we have an articulate and vibrant legal practitioner also, former president of the Student Union Government, AAU, Ambrose Ali University. And he is a social media influencer, a comrade, human rights activist, in the person of Barrister Damisa Itote. Good morning, Damisa.
Good morning, Mr. Philip. Good morning, viewers on TV, and a very pleasant morning to our listeners on radio.
All right.
Thanks for having me, Mr.
The stage is set, is ready, and I choose to start with you, Damisa Itote. Looking at the issues concerning the retrieval of the old Naira notes in the denomination of the 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes has been sending shivers down the spine of Nigerians. The ripples effects have been so huge to a point where we're almost thinking, can we breathe? So, what is your bite over this situation as we are having just now on the deadline of the CBN released for the retrieval of the Naira notes that are old? Damisa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Philip. Just to correct that, I'm currently in Akoko Edo. I'm not in Abuja. I came in a few days ago, and I'm joining you on this program from Akoko Edo.
Awesome.
Soso, precisely.
Awesome.
Soso.
So you are closer to us.
Yeah, closer. Hopefully, I will gravitate down, as the week progresses. Well, the honest truth, for starters, I must, like we say a lot, thank God we have a very senior colleague that I'm on all for. I'm on all for with the cashless policy, for starters. I'm totally, completely in sync with the CBN policy to go cashless, in the economy. Just to establish that fact that I support it. It's a good way to go, and we must begin to sustain it. Now, it's a good idea, but the time is inauspicious as far as I'm concerned. It's an inauspicious moment. You can't, in 30 days, in about 100 days, retrieve close to how many trillion naira in circulation. It's not possible. So that is the only thing, that I find very disheartening. That in our nature, I have the nature mentality as not left us, where we do things in the fire brigade, approach. I don't see it's almost impossible to retrieve this currency in circulation. Now, in the UK, they lost a monarch, transited as it were, the Queen. Now, King Charles, at this moment, will not be, in any of the currencies for now. It will take, I think, the Treasury Department has applied a 3 years plan for them to retrieve the old pound sterling that had the Queen there for the King's face to be on those currencies. So, if an advanced country like the United Kingdom has applied three years policy for them to invest, one would believe that we can achieve this purpose in about 90 to 100 days. And that is where I found, the whole thing a very, very,
funny.
distasteful,
Okay, thank you for that first response to the question I asked. That shows that there is respite in terms of finding solutions from you in tackling this. But before we go that drive, let's get the response of your learned colleague, your senior learned colleague, all right, in the person of Barrister Greg Iyayi. Now, we've been on this road where we, need to really tackle the issues of terrorism and the aspect that the CBN governor, Gordon Emefiele, reeled out on the aim of this change of the old Naira notes. Now, yes. Do you concur with what Barrister Damisa said in terms of the timeliness, which is not really available, or do you have a different perspective?
I have a little bit different perspective. My own is this. If the real aim is to fight terrorism, then in any war, the element of surprise is a very, very potent weapon. And I think this is not the first time we have changed the design of our notes. When Buhari was a president, a military head of state, it did happen, and it was actually to check. There was so much of Naira outside the country. And people were carrying our money outside the country and decided to take it. Now, the central bank, by the Central Bank Act, vests power in the governor to issue legal tenders and then also to supervise how the legal tender is distributed to the various financial institutions. There's no limit, there's no... He didn't really set a time with the frame within which he can issue new notes or withdraw the notes in circulation. So to that extent, he is completely at liberty to do whatever he chooses to do. But I would always like to say this. Nigerians must not always wait for the last minute. In the registration for election, people were waiting for the last minute. Collection of PVC, people were waiting for the last minute. We also have to be timeless, because having explained that this is an innovation to check, terrorism and the amount of cash they are actually collecting, that does not pass through the financial institutions. I mean, we just have to cooperate with the government. Fortunately, they have said they will work on weekends, and I don't know whether the CBN is going to extend the date. But if they don't, let us do whatever we can between now and Tuesday next week.
All right. We have a challenge where it's becoming, some politicians are saying it from a different perspective. We have some political parties that are saying that Gordon Emefiele should not bow to pressure because of the intrigues of some politicians to really extend this deadline by 6 months. And then we have the House of Representatives, National Assembly, basically, churning out their response in this direction that it should be extended by 6 months. Now, to a point where they are even recommending the House of Representative Speaker to invoke a relevant section of the law, to issue an arrest warrant on the CBN governor. Now, what do you make of this, Collins Osagai? Because it's becoming political. Don't you think so?
Thank you very much. First, I want to apologize to Nigerians on behalf of the president, who ordinarily Emefiele, the central bank governor, give accounts to or reports to. However, Emefiele being the chairman and the guardian of the Nigerian economy, as it were, by virtue of his office. But unfortunately, we have seen something very different from him. Now, my leader stated that some of the reasons, or particularly the major reasons, for bringing about this anti-politics that ought not to be in this formula in which it came. It's good to run an e-system, but our e-system, how functional is it? For 2 days, between the first day and yesterday, it was choked on me. I was trying to make a transfer, a very simple transfer, but it took this morning for it to be successful. Yes. And that person who got me that tire, because it was a wavy something, please quickly help me wavy a tire. I was going to transfer immediately, but I did all truth in this early morning, and I have to apologize. Now,
so that's why you have to apologize on behalf of the president.
Yes, because I have gone through.
Because the government under President Muhammadu Buhari is causing this report.
I am coming, sir.
Okay.
I have gone through all of that. That means many Nigerians had gone through that too. But however, it is unfortunate that sometimes patience and hastiness are two different things. We don't understand.
And some
when we say,
I am coming,
sir, I am coming so I can land well. When we say building institution, we are not saying build institution on a marathon base. Emefiele became politician lately. How can Emefiele be traveling with the president every 1 hour when you are supposed to be solely independent, for example?
Who approves it?
I am coming, sir. We don't know how Nigeria has been run lately. It's as if the central bank governor determines what will happen. Maybe with
for the president.
Maybe with a few things.
Do you mean determines for the president?
I said maybe. That we don't understand. Because I cannot expect a man who is supposed to be solely and very independent. Ordinarily, a central bank governor is supposed to be like a first-class royal king who you hardly see outside. He should be busy planning, thinking, getting memorandum, communicate, checking, balancing, and giving us direction. But now he has just been there doing things the way it is. To even report to constitutional authority like the National Assembly on policies they are taking, he will refuse to answer them. And now some security agencies were said to have also done investigation or wanted to know how come about this terrorism that is unending. I'm sure we heard that some trace got to him. That was why they wanted to arrest him. And he went to court and asked for him not to be arrested. How can you be a central governor and make yourself so vulnerable? And now also tell me, unfortunately, he's from our constituents. He's from the south. Not just from the south, he's from our backyard. Now, if the president ordinarily have removed him, regional sentiment and religious sentiment would have also come in. That this is one position that their son is holding and is being relieved. You can believe me, for over 6 years now, this man has been in charge. Because when former President Jonathan was leaving, that was when he handed Emefiele to this government to inherit. They inherit him, and he does not have any policy that can boost our economy. Since he came, dollar became so stupidly unexplainable.
Okay, but I don't know why you are saying this. I
have to say this now
because don't you see that it's getting at the government of the APC?
Now that is where the unfortunate thing comes from.
And don't you see, just now we are also having the issues, challenges of petrol scarcity. And people are saying that this is too much for them to buy.
That is where.
And isn't this a bad taste for
that is where the
APC?
Unfortunate thing had come from. Because he wanted to become a president, we saw the branded cars, we saw him got the form from APC, and probably he thought he had it, and since he didn't have it, others want it, for him, he has to create more hardship. Because even if we talk about this fuel and our supplying of fuel and what have you, it is still the same central bank through which we make importation. Or sorry, we export those refined products. It is through the Central Bank of Nigeria. And if through that same office choose to withhold everything and bring about hardship, now you can also tell me they are working, almost working in collaboration for agenda they best know to them. But I can assure them what God has ordained, no man can change. Now, now Anna come in there. Now, electricity, even when the dam itself, the national grid collapsed, we were having 12 hours. How come for the past a month plus now, to even get electricity for 3 hours has become problem almost across the nation?
Okay,
that is to tell you,
I'll come back to
some persons are trying to use the formula of their office to deny Nigeria of a renewed hope.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Now, let's go to you, Damisa. Now, this issue is becoming political, and we don't know at what point we can really salvage this situation, because some politicians are really aggrieved about the activities or the resolutions, the release of the deadline by the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, as you heard what Collins Osaga said. Now, what do you make of this? Do you see the recommendation by the National Assembly that it should be extended by 6 months as logical?
Thank you very much, Mr. Philip. You see, the problem we have this part of the world is the problem of having strong men, weak institutions. When President Obama, Barack Obama, former president of the United States, visited the Ghanaian parliament in 2009, he said, Africa do not need strong men. Rather, we need what? Strong institutions. Just to paraphrase what the former president, former president said. So, the difficulty we are experiencing today is because we have strong men, weak institutions. Now you can see the trajectory the thing is going. The leading presidential candidate of the ruling party is constituting an opposition to the ruling party and the ruling government.
That's interesting.
And look, it's shameful. It shows that we are not there yet. You see, Mr. Philip and David, we cannot build nothing or nothing and expect this to stand. What you are seeing today in the twilight of this government is because of the inefficiency, the ineptitude that was created. Now, we planted inefficiency, we planted ineffectiveness, we planted failure. Do we expect to reap success? It is not possible. You can see that even aside by the colleague there, I can bet that he's probably in the ruling party. That attacking the ruling party.
He seems not to be happy with his party in governance.
You understand? Because why? We have failed to do the needful. We have failed to do the needful. So the thing is not political. A presidential candidate saying that these policies were put in place to frustrate his presidential ambition.
By
the ruling government, the political party. So it's when we look at those things, we look at us, Nigeria is, we are very unfortunate in this part of the world.
Okay.
So just to answer this question directly, do we need an extension? Is extension very, very paramount now? Is it necessary to now extend this policy?
And by how many months?
Less than 72 hours to the end of the expiration. Now, the question is no for me. We are already there. I'm in my village. So. For the past 3 days, I can bet that I've been doing cashless policy. I've been doing it.
So which means it's doable. It's doable.
It's doable. It is because we do not have the will.
Okay, but are you considering, Damisa, are you considering citizens in the hinterlands that may not even have access to
internet,
banking institutions in their community? Do you see that bulk of difficulty that they are faced with? Because you are saying this because you are in the urban region and you can easily do transactions with the banking institutions. What about those in the hinterlands?
I just told you that I'm in Ososo. I didn't even know the direction. I'm in Okoko Edo. I'm in Wotan, Okoko Edo, Ososo. And I've been here for the past 3 days. I have been doing cashless policy. I bought some boundaries. At least the villagers have money. And now, the point we are trying to make is this. Those in the hinterland, they don't have enough money. And that is why I must encourage that what is going on in Bayelsa State. I have some contact in Bayelsa State. That CBN, sorry, I think I said CBN has considered a swapped policy where the minimum you can swap is 10,000 naira for the old note and the new note. 10,000 naira. Why the other transaction will be done via transfer? So if we can do that across the 18 local government in Edo State and across the 774 local government in Nigeria, it is doable.
Okay, but you said just now, that means you said just now that it's almost impossible to do this in terms of circulating trillions of naira within this short time. Now, why are you being the otherwise?
No, I didn't say circulation. I said withdrawal.
Okay.
I said withdrawal.
Okay.
Circulation is different from withdrawal.
Okay.
You can circulate money, but how do you withdraw? In terms of that's what I'm saying, that those in the hinterland who don't have money, we are already there. I get against it by the extent, but I do not believe that the extension now is necessary.
Okay.
We must begin to build strong institutions. My senior colleague said that to collect BBC, it ends today again. Do you know many people have not collected? Because we always have this mindset that now forget it, they will always extend. They will always extend. That is the implication. That is why we have weak institutions. So do we need to extend it now? The question, the answer to this question is no.
All right, thank you.
Let us go ahead and do it and begin to withdraw.
Thank you, Damisa. When you say the answer to the question is no, are you also looking at the personal or intrigues involved in some politicians or lawmakers saying that it should be extended by 6 months? Are you considering that?
Yeah, I'm considering that because if you extend it, some people will go ahead to say the election is very compromised. That one of the reasons, and some of the reasons they are doing all of it, somebody has taken, that is not the victim of policies that we have caused the economy of this country. Somebody has taken it as a burden on it now. Now, should CBN be compelled, be coerced, or be cajoled to extending it? Nigerians will know clearly that the election is already compromised.
Oh, the election is already compromised. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think we should bet it at that.
These
and we'll be taking a
motions.
short break. We'll be taking a short break, and we will be extending the frontiers of this discussion after this short break. Do stay with me. Big thanks for joining us once again on Politics Today. That comes simultaneously live on independent television and radio. I did say that shortly we're going to be reading out the number, and for our listeners on independent radio, you can also participate on the number 0807 777 0300. 0807 777 0300. We're going to be having this visualized on the screen shortly, just as a reminder for those who are watching to join. And while we had a break, we had the opportunity to be joined by a seasoned public affairs analyst, human rights activist, and the General Overseer of Sword of Liberation Bible Church, Bishop Austin Igbasa. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. And I greet all our listeners and viewers.
I was actually looking at this issue about the old Naira notes. I'm finding it difficult to learn because it has to do with the clergy, for instance. I was opportuned to attend a fellowship yesterday, and the pastor asked that everyone giving offering should not give with 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes. We are in this web of seemingly chaotic situation because of this deadline. Now, what's your reaction about that? Do you see this deadline as a positive outcome that we will be embracing soon?
Indeed, the CBN governor has power with the constitutional power to decide when to redesign money or whatever. But I think this timing is what is the issue. In UK, the death of the Queen is making them to plan to have their notes with the picture of the king. But the window is about 2 years. And even what was said about a few days ago is that there is also a window till about September, or for people September 3rd, thereabout. So these are climes where they have all the institution working, not being moved by one person.
But don't forget the scenario that you just mentioned just now is different from the reason or aim at which the CBN governor said is going to be having this Naira notes withdrawn.
Because
This is in a way of tackling terrorism, tackling stashing of huge Naira notes, you know, that are unexplainable or that are questionable. So there are different things entirely.
When you are talking about changing of the notes, whatever is your reason, we have changed note during Jonathan.
Yes.
We did it, and it was not volatile. It was not a terrible thing like this. So what I'm trying to say is that the timing is wrong. The timing is wrong. Yes. We know that the president have an intention. Don't forget that this policy, no matter what you are seeing on the surface, there are a lot of undertone under it. Why this happened now,
yes,
and why the deadline is now. We expected in a country like this that our CBN governor put everywhere on fire, and it's nowhere to be found. When he came back, the president said you are welcome, as if we are receiving a VIP. When everywhere is on fire, now you want to tell me that you are changing? They told us redesign. Do you know how much MFLA voted for this redesigning? The redesigning is just it's not redesigning. They repaint the money because it's the same template, and if they are talking about counterfeiting, what was done now even encourage counterfeiting than what we had before. Yes. Because what to do is now color separation. You just do a color separation on what you had before. So when you say redesign, Nigeria is a very powerful country. That English is everywhere. Yes. Redesigning means you change where F is, you change where A is, you change where signature is, where the ego is, you redesign. Not you repaint. With new concept. Okay, but now, the in the long run. What I'm saying is that now you get a deadline for that money, and the new note is nowhere to be found. Now, which question? What are we going to as a nation? Now, the Naira that we are talking about, the new note is not available. You ask somebody not to sleep with his wife, and you don't give him an alternative. Now you are saying we should use the new note. Where is the new note? Where is it? We can't find the new note. Now you are talking about church now. Who is going to come tomorrow now give offering to God? What you are giving is already liquidated because you don't have a place where you are going to. People are rejecting it now. I heard that those who are selling cows said they are not selling from Monday. People are groups are coming together. Tipper drivers are holding meeting. Is this what we needed in a country when we are preparing for election?
I want you to respond to the issue where some are saying that there are money bags, you know, who have this stashed currency notes stashed somewhere, and they want to use it for election purposes. And all of these challenges could be the reason why the CBN is saying no to the deadline in order to have a grab of this stash note for them not to be able to circulate it.
All of us know that.
And that could guide against compromising the election, like what that means. What
I'm saying is that you are compromising. You are talking about compromising an election. Now, when the new note that has been printed, Emefiele is nowhere. National Assembly sent for him. The presidency gave a shield to him not to be able to answer. This is what to do with engaging the public. This thing we are talking about affects the poor even more than the rich. The new notes that they have made available now, is it not in the hands of the rich people? Of course. Go to party today, you see that they are selling the new note that they cannot dispense to you, that they tell you that there's a limitation of 20,000 even from ATM. ATM are not dispensing, the bonds are not given from the counter, but yet the people you are saying you are running away from, they have the new notes now stashed everywhere with them. Yes. It is not the masses. Now you want to buy shoe stick, you do transfer. You want to buy bitter cola, you do transfer. Fish. Or you want I'm talking about buying bread, now you do transfer. Is it every Nigerian that had bank account? I heard CBN said they are sending some people to Kogi. One deadline is next tomorrow. Now those people will arrive to begin to share the new note. Where are those people? Are they going to start sharing from after the deadline? Okay. And we heard that the deadline is Monday. So what I think is that is a good policy at a wrong time. And I feel that the target of the government on tackling those who are going to be money back is already dead on arrival, because the people you are trying to fight now, they have the money in their hand. It's not the masses that is suffering from that new note. Now I ask you, why is it that President Buhari did not encourage governor of the central bank to do this one few hours to his own election in 2019? Why did he not encourage them to do it in 2019 and redesign the money?
Yes.
He really wants to fight corruption.
Okay. He said he was sharing market money.
Now, they were the market sharing
market money.
All the private jets that was used to convey people from place to place, and all the money that he spent in 2019.
Okay.
I think it was from the sky.
From the sky.
Bet there.
Now, what I saw this as a calculated attempt by Mr. President himself.
I will come back to you. Now, let's have some decorum.
God bless you.
Let's have your response, Greg. Now, don't forget what Collins Amadin said. Now, Collins Amadin is a member of the All Progressives Congress, just for those who don't know. And he is not happy with the present state, probably because it's going to affect the election in his presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Ahmed Tinubu. We all know about the Bullion Vans saga that's still unexplainable. Now, don't you think this development could guide against compromising the election?
Well, the thing is this. Nobody has been able to establish that the CBN is doing something ultra-vires.
Okay.
No one has complained about that, and he's doing something that he does not have the power to do. So, to me, if we cannot point to any statute that has been broken, or any law that has been broken,
He should have his way.
He should have his way. And he has offered some explanation, whether we buy it or not. That is to fight terrorism. Most cash is tight because they want to dodge the normal process so that their funds cannot be traced or tracked. So at least let us give him the benefit of the doubt. And as long as he has not gone against any known law, I feel like I have said, whenever a deadline is given, whether it's for registration, collection of PVC, or anything, let Nigerians work hard to try to abide by it than always cry for extension. If they extend, you are not hurt. If they do not extend, you are not at a loss. So I think that should be the mindset. I agree that there might be some people want to interpret it politically, but again, that one is always on almost every issue in Nigeria. So let us abide by it. The banks are open right now.
So you are in support of the CBN as well as the deadline?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, even if I have to lose a few currency, but if that is going to help us in the element of surprise against terrorists, let it be.
Okay. Well, the number to call, I did say 0807-777-0300. And ensure that you are civil in your presentation. You can also send us chats on that number. Is live on WhatsApp, and as soon as we get it, we also will be reading out your messages. Let's get our first caller on this show. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my panelists and the producer of this program. My name is
Good morning.
I'm calling from Naira, Benin City.
Okay. Your name is?
Hello.
Your name again?
My name is Mr. Jude Ago.
Jude Ago. Go ahead.
Yes, please. I want to support the CBN. They should not extend this because Nigerians are fond of doing this, and that's why we have the problem we have with BBC today. They like this last minute rush, and it's not helping us. So let that expect deadline be expect deadline. If you have, you have. But the only thing the CBN will help us tonight is to tell us the banks that they've transferred this new currency to and how much they have given to them, because these bank managers and bank directors also conspire to make things difficult for us. Where just want selling this money, where are they getting information from the banks? That means money has been sent to these banks and they are selling it. Then those using your panelists, they're using United Kingdom to give us example. Can you carry 500,000 naira cash in UK, 500,000 pounds in UK? You cannot. You can't even carry 500 pounds cash in UK. We keep using UK today. Give example, the Queen said the King said will come in 3 years time, and so you follow that policy. It does not comply with Nigeria because you can't even carry 1,000 pounds in your wallet in UK. So when people come to give us an example, it's wrong example that it does.
Thank you very much, Jude Ago, for that brilliant contribution. Well, just for a point of observation, there was an interface between the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, the committee set up to look at this issue. And banks appeared before the committee just less than 48 hours ago. Banks appeared before the committee, and it was said that they've started receiving monies, the new Naira notes. But the only challenge they had was that they were not having enough volumes of these new Naira notes to circulate. And that once they get it, they put it on the ATM and it goes. But the challenge here is in some states, like Edo State, for instance, we are not seeing much of this ATM churning out or reading out or spitting out, whatever word you may call it, these new notes, enough as could go around. I think that's the challenge where the CBN really needs to look at this logically. But before I get back to you, Collins Osagai, let's get another caller. Hello, good morning, caller. Okay, Collins Osagai, let's look at this. Petrol scarcity has been biting hard. And again, this seemed to be like a gift from the APC government. Just few months or few weeks to the election. What do you think? Could that not jeopardize the candidacy or the competence or the ability of your candidate running for this presidency to win that ticket?
Thank you very much. That still has to do with the central bank. The importation of refined products is through the central bank and through the same man.
Are you saying petrol scarcity
of that now,
of the central bank?
See, I have told you, you cannot conspire against who has been ordained by God, if that be it. If, for example, you are having an interior motive against one person and you are bringing up an action and policies that in return is affecting the entire nation.
Okay, who approves what the CBN governor does?
Now I am coming. That is why
I'm asking you that question. Who approves it?
He has monopolized authority to himself. Now let me tell you, because they work within a cabal. Okay. There have always been cabal in systems. Let's assume there are teams within the presidency.
So you agree there's a cabal in the APC government?
Of course, every system, even in the church, there are cabals. Everywhere there are cabals. But the prayer we have always prayed is that let us have a cabal that can give us a quality delivery. Okay. That is why as you have always tried to make.
Let's get this caller. Good morning, caller. Hello, good morning, caller. Hello? Go ahead.
Good. You made a reference to my party presidential candidate, for example. That is why even all his life and political sojourn, he has always has a cabal, a team that he has always been working with. And that is why over the time he has always delivered, because he has a cabal that are functional. So if you have a cabal that are not functional, all that they do is how to siphon. They cannot generate ideas. They don't have policies that can benefit the people, and you become a reference point. There will be problem. That is why you see people like us can call for him, because he's a reference point when it comes to policies formulation, development, and just name them.
Okay, so okay. I'll pause you again. Let's get this caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother. This is USA on the line.
USA. Thank you for calling. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Scarcity.
Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, my brother, what I want you people to understand is this. Number one, he who comes to APC must do so with their hands. It is a university to go fast. Now look at the conduct of what MSL is. And I said it from the outset. The man came up with this policy deliberately targeting some persons in the process. No civilized officials of the government that would sit down deliberately create a system and use this word irresponsible pains on the people. Now, how do you explain his conduct? Elections around this corner. You said you have redesigned the money. What you did was just to replace the money. When you are designing something different than what I'm saying, brother, and I have said it over and over, this country is going nowhere.
You can't say that. The country will go somewhere.
You can't say that. With people like this, it's correct.
Oh, well, no,
with people like
I doubt if you are in Nigeria because you said your name is USA.
With people like
so please, let's leave our country for us. It will go well. We're going somewhere, please.
Yeah. Listen, look at the conduct of our officials. Election that is so sensitive to determine who becomes the next president. And somebody is cooking up a crisis that if they not take election may be postponed. What are we talking about like that? Go outside and see. Let's go. So what's the problem to you? Is this how you run a country?
No.
I had expected a message. Somebody has advised you to do that. He shouldn't have done that. He should have waited after the election. Why did they not do this thing before now? So my position is this. What MFLA has done is wrong because it was spontaneously it was totally wrongly done. If they had done it before now or after the election, there would have been no problem.
Thank you.
I think what the election or CBN governor, he should have known that he occupies a very sensitive position. He should have known that. So when we are supporting a thing like this, we should look at the fact that here is not what United States of America, where laws are obeyed, when things are properly done. This is a country somebody can just wake up. Come on, we tell them and start punishing citizens. And in our influence, we clap for them. No, I do not agree with them at all. Where is the money that we can't find it? Go to our bank, we can't find it. So what are we talking about?
Thank you for your very useful and decisive contributions. Midway, I got to get some very, very valuable, ideas you just shared on this because it's happening now that we are in election, getting ready for that. But let's get a response to this. You heard what USA said and basically what Bishop Austin Igbasan also said and Koliso Sagai. This is a very sensitive, yes, I'll come back to you.
No,
this is a very
sensitive
issue where the government or the governor of the CBN will have to look at. Will you say you will go back to your decision? Because you said earlier that you are with the CBN governor on the deadline. But aren't you looking at the implications that it's going to have on the election? Damisa.
Oh, you're with me? Okay, I didn't get that. Thank you very much. You see, the problem we have, is a problem of having people who do not mean well for our country, manning sensitive position, in the country. In 2012, ex-President Jonathan removed or partially removed the fuel subsidy. Some of us in the civil society, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago and I reminded them. I said, look, we were the one that came out to say, no, this is not the best time. The moment is wrong. The timing was wrong. There must be palliative in ground and all of that, on ground and all of that. Now, we failed again. Now, 12 years down the line, all the 3 or 4 major presidential candidates are campaigning with the intention to remove the fuel subsidy. And I reminded my colleagues in society, look at, I wrote, I said, look, it's not because I love Jonathan. I said, look, let us eat the frog, according to Brian Tracy, who, if you remember his book, Eat the Frog. Let us eat the frog now, so that we can have, a template to build on for the betterment of our people in this country. It's a great country. Now, again, just to, I know you are short of time already. Should we extend it? I said, no, we shouldn't. Now, was it the right time? I said, no, it wasn't the right time. But we cannot also extend it because some people are saying that the policies are targeted, against the aspiration. So my take is simple. We failed 12 years ago to remove the fuel subsidy. 12 years down the line, we are battling to remove it now.
Okay.
And that is what is bringing the problem of fuel scarcity.
Okay.
And when my colleague said it's CBN that is affecting person, we are talking to sensible people. We are talking about brilliant Nigerians.
Okay, in 1 minute, Damisa, I will take that 1 minute of your response as your closing remarks on this program.
Okay.
In 1 minute, do you see capacity among the frontline presidential candidates in tackling the problem we are faced with in Nigeria? Because this is a very huge headache for Nigerians. And it seems the APC government under President Muhammadu Buhari or President Muhammadu Buhari, it seems he's not really, he wants to leave everything in the hands of the CBN governor. He wants to leave everything in the hands of the NNPCL to manage, because this challenge is getting almost out of hand. So in 1 minute, what do you see as the way out?
In 30 seconds, I will not spend 1 minute. In 30 seconds, I will say, Mr. Collins, that it will be an anathema. It will be an aberration to reward failure. We can never reward this ruling party. It is not possible. We cannot reward them. So anybody anticipating to reward failure, to reinforce failure, the person will not, it does not mean well for this country. In terms of all the other 3 candidates, having picked out the ruling party candidate, other ones may have 1 or 2 capacity, but there are some things that must be done, which is the restructuring of the country. And that is where the president of the president candidate of the PDP comes in. He's not the best as far as I'm concerned, but I think he has 1 or 2 capacity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Damisa, for that brilliant contribution, and we just hope you join us in our subsequent editions. And do have a beautiful day ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, before I get to, I know Collins Osaga, you were saying that I did not allow you to finish.
Yes.
I'm going to give you an extra 30 seconds to round up on that. But quickly, let's get response from our callers. Good morning, caller. Okay, what's your name and location? And quickly, you have less than a minute to make your contribution. Go ahead.
I quickly want to correct some impression here. Situation where you are trying to compare the Nigerian state and that of United Kingdom. We all know the scenario surrounding the changing of their currency and ours. See, there's a saying that desperate time requires desperate measure. In the Nigerian context, it is quite different. That was as a result of the demise of their monarch, which they know and they are aware that their currencies are in abroad. And it will take time for them to be able to change the face of the currency.
Okay.
That length of time.
All right.
But like us here, the political settings, we all know what the currency or rather the money politics we are in. For me, I'm in total support of the CBN.
Emotions.
Thank you. What do you say your name is again?
Emotions.
What do you say your name is again?
Because you want to get
Comrade
at the
Nabulele, thank you for taking our time to be part of this discussion. Well, let's get to, before I come to you, who am I coming to now?
You just said you were coming to me for my second.
Yes, I'll come to you and I'll give you 30 seconds. Now, we have a message from a chat on WhatsApp. You said your name is Michael and you are based in Benin. On the issues of the new Naira note, for me, I think the CBN is doing the rightful thing at the right time. That is, they know better. All right, that's coming from Michael. And then we got your response again. You said your name. You said, good day, presenter. The APC presidential candidate is crying foul. Is he not among the cabals, or is it not the party that is in power deciding what is happening in the country? You didn't give us a name. Okay, but we have this that says, good morning, presenter. Kudos to your eminent analysts for their profound disposition. The Siemens twins of fear, scarcity, and redesign of the Naira notes is not a continuous sign. Now, how will NURTW convey election materials? The train transportation system in Nigeria is jinxed from kidnapping and train derailing on tracks. My people, only God can help us, and the rest of it. Big thanks. You said your name is Ambi. All right, well, those are just some messages we got on WhatsApp. So let's get your closing remarks on this, Bishop Austin.
My own is that nobody says what the governor of the CBN is doing, that he does not have constitutional power to do it. Now, I hear people talk about why are we comparing them to UK and all the rest of them. No matter your reason for changing money, what is important is that you are changing your currency. Now, your reason for changing it is this same government that told us they are going to bring the names of corrupt people, they are going to scroll it on television. At the end of the day, they ended up telling us they can't shame anybody.
Okay.
These are the same people who tell us they are going to open up everything. Now, at the end of these are the same people who said they are recovering looted funds, and today they can't tell us Mr. F returned so amount of money, and we don't know how much is returned back. Okay. So, to me, I think that the target of the president has to do with the candidate of his own party.
Okay, thank you.
Now, that is my that is my submission.
Okay, thank you. And your submission is...
When there is no new note,
all right,
I cannot justify Emefiele for starving the poor people.
Thank you.
Because the rich people are not affected with what we are talking about.
Thank you.
Is the promises.
Now, let's let the pendulum swing to you. You have less than a minute, but 45 seconds to you.
You can't play major policies issue based on emotions. That's for our citizen. Because all these you are saying always come back to us. I run a restaurant. Since on Thursday, I have to shut down. Even on Monday, I don't know if I'm likely to open. Because if I can't cook bulk of food, and I'll take it home to go and be eating. Why do people come with old Naira and I don't have where I'm going to go and put the old Naira?
So you are not happy
economically, it has also affected me.
Okay.
Not just the assume. And let me also tell you, he that already is structured. Now, if you are hitting at someone and other people believe this person have capacity, and don't also forget that election is logistics.
Okay,
there is no one candidate that will not spend money on logistics.
Thank you.
So if you feel, you feel you are only going to bring out 10,000 new Naira note, and his supporters too have 3,000 of those new Naira note, they will volunteer it for the person.
Okay, thank you.
If you will use it for logistics,
that is the benefit of having
structure.
Let's get your humble submission.
People on
now, you heard what Bishop Austin Igbasan said. It's like the president is against his party presidential candidate. And who approves for the CBN governor? In 1 minute, less than a minute.
What I would like to say is this. One, Emefiele has not done anything outside the law. Secondly, Emefiele is not the Minister of Petroleum. Buhari is the Minister of Petroleum. So issue of fuel shortage should not be blamed on Emefiele.
But on the president.
And not party too. Party does not administer.
Then also, I believe that the presidential candidate who is crying foul now, he told us, Ebiloko, that I brought this person.
All right.
After him, it should be.
Okay, thank
then you should agree that you brought the wrong person.
Thank you.
Of course, there's
thank you. Big thanks,
if you don't know where
big
to
thanks,
put your
Greg Iyayi.
Bring it to our church.
We must agree that there's a much we can take on the discussion, and big thanks, listeners and viewers on independent television. I am Philip Omo Gukmo. We'll do this on the next one. Goodbye.